Hey there. Today, we're tackling a skill that is just so essential in the world we live in, but one we don't always know how to teach our kids. We're talking about how to handle change. We're going to break down a really simple but powerful way to help you guide your children through all of life's ups and downs. I mean, this is the big question, right? As parents, we want to get our kids ready for the future, but the only thing we know for sure about that future is that it is going to be packed with change. So how do we do it? Well, let's unpack a simple story that can really help us find the answer. So we're going to use a classic little story as our guide. You've probably heard of it. Who moved my cheese? The reason it's so great is because it's super simple, which makes it the perfect tool to talk about a pretty complex topic with our kids. Okay, first things first, let's get the main idea here. In the story, cheese isn't just, cheese. It's a symbol for whatever makes us happy. For a kid, that could be anything. Their best friend, being on the soccer team, their comfortable routine at school, you name it. Anything that brings them joy and makes them feel secure. And then there's the maze. The maze is just the world where we look for our cheese. It's the school, it's the playground, it's our home, our town. It's basically the whole complex game of life where we're all just trying to find what makes us happy. Now, the story gives us two totally different ways to react to change, and it shows us through four little characters. First, you got the mice, Sniff and Scurry. They keep it really simple. When the cheese disappears, they don't sit around and analyze it to death. They just immediately start sniffing around for more. But then you have the little people, Hem and Haw. And they're more like us. They're complicated. They analyze everything, they worry, they complain, and when change hits, they often just freeze. And that brings us to our first huge lesson, the danger of getting stuck. This is what happens when we go down the same path as Hem and Haw, where our first reaction is just to resist and pretend the change isn't even real. Sound familiar? This right here is the fairness trap. Hem and Haw felt like they were entitled to that cheese, and when it vanished, their gut reaction was just anger. Kids have such a strong sense of what's fair, so it's really easy for them to get stuck right here, thinking that because a change feels unfair, it just shouldn't be happening at all. And this is exactly why staying stuck is so bad for us. When we fight against change, we just make the uncomfortable feeling last way longer. It's like pulling a bandage off as slowly and as painfully as you possibly can. And while you're waiting and complaining, you're not just getting weaker, you're missing out on all the new and maybe even better cheese that's out there just waiting for you to find it. So what do? How do you help a kid get unstuck from that fear? You can start with this incredibly powerful question. Asking, what's the worst that could happen? Isn't about making their fear seem small. It's about helping them actually name it, to walk through it in their minds, and to realize that, hey, even the worst case scenario is usually something they can totally handle. Okay, so if getting stuck is the problem, what's the solution? Well, we find it by following the journey of How. He's the character who finally decides to be brave and head back out into the maze. This is it. This is Haw's big aha moment. He realizes that the scary stories he was telling himself in his head were so much worse than the actual reality of just getting up and doing something. The second he started moving, the fear started to shrink. And that taught him something absolutely crucial. Action is the best cure for fear. So, inspired by Haw's journey, here is a fantastic, super practical tool you can use. Before a big change, say the first day at a new school, try this little visualization exercise at bedtime. It helps your child mentally practice success. By having them picture themselves handling it well and really feeling that pride, you're helping their brain expect a good outcome, and that can dramatically cut down on their anxiety. Now, here's a really critical thing Haw did. He didn't wait until he found a giant mountain of new cheese to feel good. He kept himself going by celebrating the little pieces he found along the way. And this idea, celebrating every small step, is maybe the most important tool we have. It's all about building momentum. When you notice and praise every single little courageous step into the unknown, that's what turns fear into real, solid confidence. And this is what that celebration actually looks like. It's not about praising some huge final result, like, wow, you made 5 new friends. It's about celebrating the effort. Notice the courage it took just to try. Notice the maturity to adapt to a new routine. Notice the bravery to just face a fear. That is what builds resilience that will actually last. All right, let's pull all this together into a handy little playbook. These are the tools you can literally start using tonight to help build a more resilient kid. This chart makes it super clear.
On one side, you have the things we often do with the best intentions, but that actually shut a child down, like telling them to just get over it. And on the other side, you've got the stuff that really works, validating their feelings, sharing your own stories about change, and always, always celebrating their effort.
Here's another amazing activity, the Change Success Journal. What you're doing here is creating a physical record of their own strength. So the next time they face a challenge and say, I can't do this, you can literally open this journal with them and say, hey, look at all these times you thought you couldn't, but you totally did. It's powerful, tangible proof of just how capable they are. And of course, this is not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. You've got to adapt how you talk about this to your child's age. For the little ones, just keep it simple. Focus on the story of the mice. For older kids, you can actually read the story together and talk about it. And for teens, you can use the whole cheese metaphor to have some really deep, meaningful conversations about their future, their goals, and their identity. So, as we start to wrap this up, what is the single biggest message we want our kids to get from all of this? What's the whole point? This is it. This is the heart of the matter. We can't shield our kids from change. It's just a fundamental part of being alive. But what we can teach them is that their reaction to change is a choice. They don't have to just suffer and stay stuck. They have the power to adapt, to move forward, and to find new happiness. And that leaves us with one last really powerful question. Every time a change comes along, our kids are standing at a crossroads. Are they going to be frozen in place, complaining about what they lost? Or are you going to give them the tools, the confidence, and the support to be to face their fear, to venture out into that maze, and to discover all the amazing new cheese that's waiting for them? The choice is ultimately theirs, but our guidance can make all the difference in the world.